There's a difference between worst and least favorite. Recently, I published a video that hopefully you guys have already seen by now, talking about what I believe to be the 10 worst roller coasters that I've ridden. But you disagree with me on a couple things.
Yes.
Just because something is objectively bad doesn't mean that you might hate it as much. Or there might be a ride that is actually objectively not that bad that you might really dislike.
Exactly. Just like how you can have like the best roller coaster at a park versus your favorite roller coaster at a park. It's not the same thing.
So we're going to debate some of our personal least favorite roller coasters. Let's hear your first one.
Okay, these are not in any particular order, by the way.
Yes, correct.
We're just kind of spouting these off. First one I put on my list was one that you probably also have on yours. The Great American Scream Machine at Six Flags Over Georgia.
This is actually one that I featured in the top 10 worst roller coasters video that I just did. This is a ride that is only as bad as it is because of how rough it is. Like, the layout is not horrible.
It's fine.
Yeah.
I guess.
It's a miracle what some retracking will do.
Oh, it's abysmal right now with how rough it is.
They used to have buzz bars, and then they switched over when they RMC'd Georgia Cyclone. They put the little trains on it. So it just runs brutally rough.
I think that one could fall, like you said, it falls on the list of objectively bad and just least favorite.
Yeah.
It hurts.
Here's a roller coaster that I would say objectively has a bad layout, but I just have an unnatural distaste for it, and that is Anaconda at Kingston.
I knew that was going to be on here.
I would throw a party if they threw out this roller coaster. The space is prime real estate for something so much better. And there's some great aero loopers out there. I'm not a hater against aero. I'm a hater against this ride.
It's ugly. It's not good. It has the same colors as I-305, which really pisses me off.
I know, yeah.
It's too much in one spot. Too much ketchup and mustard in one spot. My next one is the Great American Scream Machine that no longer exists.
Stop.
Six Flags Great Adventure.
Too many Great American Scream Machines.
I had to throw this on here because I know that a lot of people, I guess, liked it for some reason. But it was my first, like, big girl roller coaster.
Okay.
And it was, like, this close to making me never want to ride a roller coaster ever again.
Imagine what world we'd live in if that happened.
Bottom line, I would not be here right now had I not ridden El Toro, like, an hour later.
Well, thank goodness for that.
Aw. Yes, but, so I had to put that on the list because it quite literally almost made me hate roller coasters forever.
If we're doing rides that you can't quite experience nowadays, I want to throw in, this ride still exists, but you can't experience it this way anymore. And I'm talking about the Big Apple coaster in Las Vegas with the old trains.
Never did it, but I've heard horror stories.
Yeah, I've not done it since they updated it, so it still might be really bad.
I've heard it is mildly better.
I've heard it's better. I just think the layout is horrible. Like,
garbage.
If the casino wanted to build a 200-foot roller coaster, they could have gone with any other manufacturer and gotten something better than what they actually got. There's a reason it's the only Togo left in the United States. So, Togo didn't know how to profile things back then. It's just...
All right, next one on my list. People really like, and I will give it this. It has a fantastic layout.
Okay.
I feel like you know what I'm going to say.
No, I don't actually.
Really. Mind blower.
Oh, yeah, okay.
That ride has the potential to be absolutely stupidly wonderful. It is so freaking rough. And I feel like it might be an age thing, because I've noticed anyone who's under the age of, like, 24 really likes it. And then anyone older is like, absolutely not.
So it's like a tolerance thing.
It has to be, because the airtime pops are great. The drop is great. You know, every time we go there, if I ride it more than like 2 times, I get a screaming headache. So I just usually will sit out, which is very unlike me. I don't typically sit out of like riding anything. Mm-hmm. But I will sit out on that one after like one time. I'm just like,
That Florida heat, running that thing every single day, it's got to take a toll on that ride.
I think that's honestly why there's no like phenomenal wooden roller coasters in Florida.
I just talked about Big Apple in Las Vegas. So let's stick with the Vegas theme here.
Oh, no.
Desperado is
Never done that one
hot garbage. Like, it's pretty apparent that this ride is going to be gone in the next couple of years. It's been standing but not operating for so long. Every once in a while you see a test cycle. I mean, I've heard that the casino might even be, like, about to close forever.
Which casino is that again?
Buffalo Bills.
Oh,
it sits on the border of California and Nevada. Mm-hmm. It's, like, miles and miles outside of Las Vegas. It's not on the Strip. It's just a bad layout. Kudos to Aero for being innovative at the time and trying something new.
That's what we always say. Like, Aero was very innovative. However.
However, yeah, there's always a but in there. I didn't think it was painful. It didn't do anything for me.
Next one is potentially just a short person thing, because for the record, I'm like 5'2" and a half. Gotta get my half in there. And I bang my head on this thing, like, literally the entire ride. And I don't know if that's just a height thing, but...
I already know what you're about to say.
Green Lantern at Six Flags, great adventure. I can't stand it.
I legitimately think it's a short person thing. Because I don't mind it at all.
There's no way to comfortably ride it for me. Like, if I keep my head back, against my head. If I keep my head forward, against my ears. Yeah. So by the end, like, it feels like I'm just getting stabbed in the head over and over and over again. And it's so uncomfortable. The layout is fine. I don't think I like stand-up coasters, like, period. But I really, really dislike this one. Like, I've done Georgia Scorcher. Yeah. That's the stand-up. That one's fine.
I like Georgia Scorcher,
But for whatever reason, Green Lantern is, like, torture to me.
One of the rides that used to be at your former home park, the place where you grew up, Playland's Castaway Cove.
Oh, boy.
Had a ride called Python.
Yeah.
An old Pinfari Zyklon. I hated this thing. There's a couple of these out there. I also did one in Jolly Roger in Maryland. That one was trash too. I don't like these rides at all. Over the shoulder restraint, it's very uncomfortable. My elbow hit the back of it and it hit the pressure point and made my entire arm go numb.
Like your funny bone that isn't that funny?
Yeah. For the rest of the ride, I couldn't feel my right arm.
Next one is kind of a broad category, and I feel like if you don't agree with me, then you're lying to yourself. Every SLC and boomerang that exists,
I have those
basically
on there as well. I don't hate Vacone boomerangs. I don't like them when they have the old restraints.
I'm always getting like...
I think trains make or break a ride.
They really do.
Like, I don't think anyone ever walks up to a boomerang or SLC and is like, yay! Woo!
The worst one, though, I'm really coming at Six Flags America today because I'm not even done with that park, is Mind Eraser.
That one's horrible.
That is one that, the first time I ever went to that park, because I used to go to school in Maryland, I went there one day, and I had to leave after I rode Mind Eraser.
The ones that are really funny to me are the ones where they then extend the layout. They're like, as if you didn't have enough headbanging, now let's throw in an extra helix.
It's like a
I'm
torture
talking about
device.
You Blue Tornado, Gardaland. No, I don't like it. I want the ride to be over sooner, not longer.
You're like, I'm just doing this for the credit.
If we're talking about rough, uncomfortable rides with terrible restraints, I want to throw out diving coaster Vanish at Yokohama Cosmo World in Japan.
I've so been there.
This is that very visually impressive ride. Dives underwater. No one knows what the rest of the layout is like because they've only seen that one picture. But
it looks really cool.
Oh yeah, it looks very cool.
But that doesn't mean much.
It's horrible. Although, fun fact, I did get a Zen ride on that thing. That's how popular it was. No one wanted to ride it. I was the only one on that stupid train. Front row, and it still was
Really?
And it was bad. Stupid ride.
All right, next one I have on here, Wildcat at Lake Compounds. I hate that thing.
I 100% agree with you. I believe that is one of the worst roller coasters in the world.
And the thing is, they had just quote-unquote retracted before we were there.
And that's what made it so bad. They messed up on the retracking. Apparently it wasn't that bad beforehand.
I think that might have been the worst I've ever felt, like, physically after getting off of a ride.
I'm a little bit more forgiving when it comes to, like, rough wind roller coasters. I can look past that. This was one where I couldn't really do that.
Well, there's a difference between, like the ruggedness of, like, a wooden roller coaster compared to, like, like that.
This is one that you would probably agree with me here. Steamin' Demon.
That was the next one on my list.
Yep, Steamin' Demon.
That was a steamin' hunk of poopy.
Yeah. Nothing against Arrow, but what happened here?
I don't know.
What happened here? I've done several corkscrews.
I can tolerate them.
This one was so bad.
That was definitely the worst one that I've done.
Easily.
It's also a shame, too, because that park doesn't have much to begin with.
I know.
And then, like,
maybe that's why I hate it so much, because I feel like
they deserve better.
They do deserve better.
It is such a cute park. That's a good chunk of land that could be used for something way better. All right, here's one that I'm going to get so much hatred for, and I'm just going to put it out there, and I'm ready for the comments to tear me to shreds. Magnum XL 200.
Oh, you just triggered so many people.
I don't care. That ride hurts me. I don't enjoy the
problem
experience
is
at
there
all.
are people that like that.
Well, then you keep your weird little pain enjoyment to yourself. I don't like it.
Is it because of the lap bars or the airtime, like the triangle hills?
It might just be the profiling and like the way you experience
kind of
the airtime. You know, like Steam and Demon, where I rode it one time and I was just like, you know what, that's a terrible ride. Like, I don't want to ride it again. I've ridden Magnum a lot of times. And every time I come in with an open mind. And every time I'm like, no, still don't like it.
I'm going to throw two out here because I dislike them for the same exact reason.
Okay.
These are not horrible ride experiences. They just don't do anything. And the reason why I think I dislike them so much is because they're boring and they would be so much better as RMCs. I'm talking about Hurler at Carowinds and Wild Beast at Canada's Wonderland. If you're unfamiliar with Wild Beast, I know you haven't done that one. It's a similar layout.
You were going to say Wildcat at Hershey Park.
No, I mean, I do dislike that one, but Wild Beast is actually a similar layout to Grizzly at King's Dominion. But Grizzly is actually good. Wild Beast is dumb.
Oh.
And Hurler doesn't give like any airtime.
It's just boring.
It's a lackluster ride. And so I feel like the reason why I don't like it so much is because I know the potential it could have. I know Hurler should be giving good airtime. And I know Wild Beast could be like Grizzly, giving good airtime and like being fun and relentless. And both of those rides I walk off of saying, why did I just waste my time?
RMC it.
Exactly.
Honestly, like the way I gauge it is if I could have more fun being pushed around in a shopping cart, that's how I know that it's a boring ride. My next one is one that I absolutely 100% know you're not going to agree with, but I have the Batwing at Six Flags America.
I like Flying Dutchmans.
Hate it. I hate it so much that I refused to ride the one at Carowinds.
Okay.
The day we were there. I was like, no.
What's funny is I put Nighthawk at Carowinds on my top 10 worst roller coasters, but that one has a slightly different ending. Like that one I feel like runs worse than the others. I like Batwing. I feel like it runs pretty good.
So you start off the ride on your freaking back in a straitjacket.
Yeah.
Where you're staring up into the sun, blinding yourself.
That I don't like.
All the blood is rushing to your head.
It's not that bad.
It's that bad. Either that or you gotta try to hold your head up, which just hurts your neck. Ladies, I'm sure you can agree with me on this one. I said this online too. It is like the theme park equivalent of getting a mammogram done. If you're unfamiliar with a mammogram, it's when you get an exam on your breast to make sure you don't have any abnormalities, where they take it and they squish it into a pancake. That is what the restraints feel like. It is so painful. I don't want to ride it ever again if I can avoid it.
All right, my last one is an interesting one because this is like, again, not objectively a horrible ride. I just don't care for the experience. I'm talking about Intamin Bobsleds like La Vibora and Alpine Bobsled at Great Escape.
I can agree with that.
I don't think that these are that great of experiences, especially considering that I've done several mock bobsleds, and I feel like that's a bobsled done right. I mean, I have Reptilian now at my home park. I've been riding that thing for years. I think it's so fun, and the bobsled concepts are great.
Up until I did Reptilian, the only ones I'd ever done were the other two that you just mentioned.
You didn't have a high opinion of bobsleds.
No, and then I just did Reptilian and I was like, holy crap, that was really fun. I would ride that again.
I think that either of those rides could close. I don't think I would care.
The last two I have, I'll go through them a little quick. All the full-scale 40s free spins.
I knew you weren't a big fan of those.
I'm not. The only free spin, granted, I've only ever ridden one other one, which was the one at Fiesta.
Yeah.
It made me really nauseous. And I learned this at a young age. I did a zipper at a carnival, and I had to like beg them to let me off in the middle of the ride because I was like gonna vomit all over my little sister, which in retrospect I kind of wish I just let that happen.
That would have been funny.
Exactly. Sorry, Maddie, if you're watching this. But Tumbili, being a small model, I really enjoyed it because it's not too much.
You think the other ones are just too much?
It's too much. And the last one I had on there, sorry, my old home park, Skull Mountain.
Oh.
At Six Flags Great Adventure, and this is why. When I was younger, the first time I ever did it, I was so freaking excited. And I'm looking at this theme, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is about to be so cool.
And
like, the queue is awesome, the outside is awesome, and then it is literally a roller coaster in a box with this stupid disco ball skull in the middle. I don't know why it pisses me off so much, but every time I ride it, I get mad, because it has potential to be so cool.
Like Runaway Mountain at over Texas.
That is a great ride.
Yes, that's an indoor coaster done well.
Correct. And I can't forgive them for that because it's such a cool concept.
You know what I've noticed? I feel like when you grow up with a park, you praise the things they do well more so than other people, but you also are their harshest critic. Because you have a lot of stuff from Great Adventure that you're like, man, no, and I have stuff from King's Dominion that I'm like, no. So like, it's like how we grew up.
Home park bias in both directions?
Literally. You know, I think it's also, it makes a great point for, you know, what are objectively the worst roller coasters and what are just your least favorite, you know? What are some that are just really not fun experiences for you? So I want to hear from you guys down in the comments below. What are some of your least favorite roller coasters? And again, if you know we didn't drill it in already, go ahead and check out the other video where we talked about the worst roller coasters. And then yeah, let us know what some of yours are down below.
Yeah, and please take it easy on me on the Magnum thing.
All right.
I'm afraid.
Thank you guys so much for joining us, and we'll see you next time.